The Witcher 3 Blood and Wine. Should you buy it?
You will find Beauclair has changed.
Welcome to a review series called Late Reviews, in which we play and review games sometime after their release date to see if they're worth a buy in the current state that they are in. If this review helps you in any way, or you want to see more, leave a like or even subscribe to the channel if you're keen. This review is in a 21:9 aspect ratio, so make sure to chuck it into full screen in order to experience the full cinematic feel. In this review, I will be reviewing the DLC Blood and Wine only. I've already reviewed the base game for The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt and the Hearts of Stone DLC in previous videos, which I will link down below. This review will be shorter than the usual, due to me not wanting to repeat everything I've said in the base game review. Blood and Wine was first released in 2016 on May the 31st and is an expansion for The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. We won't be using the normal categories in today's review as it's only a DLC, but I have decided on a few categories for these DLC reviews to give them a slightly more structured feel. Similar to the Hearts of Stone DLC, this DLC can either be played using your existing Witcher 3 save game with a recommended level of 35, which likely means you've completed the game and possibly even Hearts of Stone, or you can start a new game from the main menu and choose an option that will drop you in at the recommended level with some gear if you feel like jumping straight into the DLC. Now, as always, I would highly recommend playing the base game before you jump into this DLC. Now, onto the first category of this review, the world. Blood and Wine adds a brand new, completely separate location to The Witcher 3 by the name of Toussaint. This new area is an incredibly fairy tale fantasy inspired world with castles, knights, and just a completely unique and brighter feel than the base game. Within the first minute or two of entering this world, you will see just how goddamn beautiful it looks and how large it is for a DLC. The land of Toussaint feels a lot less bleak and a lot more carefree and relaxed, with most of the NPCs appearing relatively happy or content with their living situation. There is also much more vibrant and aggressive colours, which again adds to the fantasy feel of the world. Overall, it was an awesome change of pace from the base game, and I found myself constantly stopping and staring at the expansive and awe-inspiring landscape. Next up, we move on to new additions to the DLC. Blood and Wine adds a ton of new stuff, not limited to just the world. Of course, there's an abundance of new and interesting characters all throughout the world, from the Duchy of Toussaint to the Spoon White. There is also a list of brand new monsters and creatures to fight, including panthers, a variety of vampires, and much, much more. You can get your hands on much more powerful weapons and armor sets, including Witcher gear blueprints that will cost you an arm and a leg, but have some absolutely amazing effects included. The first two characters you meet from this DLC have awesome and super unique gold looking armor, which will hype you up before you even get into the DLC. A player house is added to this world as well, where you can own a vineyard, fix it up, customize it, hang up your armor, weapons and paintings, and finally have a place you can call your own. And I can't think of any better place to own a vineyard than the beautiful, wine-dominated land of Toussaint. There is also the opportunity for increased or improved mutagens and skills, and of course, we can't forget the new music that accompanies Blood and Wine.
Scene looks like an expired. Or did something kill her? Wonder what'll happen if I reenact the scene.
Quests and story are up next. With a brand new world comes an extensive amount of both main quests and side quests, giving you plenty of reasons to explore the entire world and speak to everyone you meet. The game provides you the opportunity to compete in a tourney against knights from all over the world, which was an incredibly fun and unique quest. Some of the side quests are those epic multi-stage quests that you'll know from the base game of The Witcher, and without spoiling anything, the The main quest and story follows Geralt in a pursuit to hunt down and put a stop to a monster that is wreaking terror across Toussaint, with twists and turns along the way. Altogether, the quest kept me hooked throughout the whole time, and whilst not being the most in-depth quest line of all time, it definitely held up to The Witcher 3's standard. Now we move on to content. How long is the DLC, and does it provide you with enough to be worth paying for and playing? As usual, we'll be using the website How Long to Beat to determine the length of this game. According to How Long to Beat, if you focus on just the main story, the game should take you around 15 to 16 hours. But of course, that should never be the focus of a Witcher DLC. If you play the main quests with some extra side quests and exploration alongside it, the DLC can take you around 28 to 29 hours. And of course, if you're the completionist type, the DLC should take you around 41 hours. Altogether, the average of around 28 to 29 hours for this DLC is absolutely crazy, and it's much longer than most full-length AAA titles. So yes, plenty of content within this DLC. Lastly, I wanted to talk briefly about a few bugs I encountered whilst playing. Nothing major, but occasionally a character's face would glitch out, making it flash or appear really weird, and at one point during a cutscene, a character had a bow which kept spazzing out. But other than that, nothing really that I noticed. And finally, we have the overall experience and verdict. This DLC is just more of the amazing game known as The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, with a brand new world, quests, characters, and more. It could be considered a full game all by itself, and lesser companies may try and treat it that way, but CD Projekt Red are only charging $30 Australian or $20 US for this massive DLC. This DLC also regularly goes on sale for about 60% off, which brings it to only $11.99 Australian or $7.99 US. The DLC is also available through the Game of the Year edition of The Witcher 3, which is probably the best value, especially on sale or if you don't already own the base game. Or if you do already own the base game, you can buy the expansion pass, which includes both Hearts of Stone and the Blood and Wine DLC for $35.89 Australian or $24.99 US, which also regularly goes on sale for about 60% off, bringing it down to $14.35 Australian or $9.99 US. This is possibly the most well done and expansive DLC that I've ever played for any game, and I would highly recommend buying it for any price. Anyway guys, hopefully you enjoyed my shorter form late review of The Witcher 3 Blood and Wine, and also make sure to leave comments down below on any games you want me to review in the future, and peace out everybody.